Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we really do plunge right into fascinating material. We're here to pull out the most pertinent insights, cutting through the noise.
Yeah, getting straight to what truly matters.
Exactly. Our mission, like always, is to help you, our listener, get fully informed on a topic quickly and thoroughly.
We want you walking away with those real aha moments, but, without feeling like you're drowning in information. We find the essence.
You get the wisdom without all the waiting.
That's the idea.
And today, wow, we are taking a truly extraordinary deep dive. We're working from an incredibly dramatic, really intricate narrative pulled straight from a YouTube video transcript.
Right, and this isn't just a simple story. It's raw. It's visceral. It explores betrayal, the brutal mechanics of power.
And how new alliances get forged under just unimaginable pressure. It takes familiar ideas, familiar tropes, and twists them into something really startlingly fresh.
Yeah, it thrusts us right into the heart of this powerful werewolf pack. Now, this is a world where, ancient traditions, primal instincts, and modern corporate power, they don't just sit side by side.
No, they intertwine explosively.
Exactly. So personal relationships, they're never just personal here. They are fundamentally linked to political dominion. Every whisper, every glance.
Especially every intimate moment.
Yeah.
It's potentially an act of war. Or maybe a strategic power play.
Absolutely. So our mission today is really to understand this intricate dance. Loyalty, ambition, sheer will, it all defines this world.
We're going to explore what happens when these deep-seated ancient traditions clash head-on with modern defiance, with this unexpected surge of individual agency.
And maybe the most compelling part, how deeply personal choices can just ripple through an entire hierarchy, shaking it right down to its foundations.
And maybe forging a whole new destiny. Okay, let's plunge in. All right, so our journey into this story, it begins not with a big dramatic scene, but with a scent.
Primal.
Instantly, we're in the perspective of Skye. She's the Lena of this formidable Silverwood Pack, and she's standing right outside her office.
But this isn't just any office, is it? It's 30th floor Silverwood Corporation Tower.
Gleaming Tower,
Yeah.
And she calls it her sanctuary. Describes the smell, old leather, expensive ink, and the clean, sharp fragrance of my own power.
It's explicitly stated, isn't it? The one place. That was mine alone.
Exactly. It's a symbol of her individual strength, her authority, a physical manifestation of her power, her dominion.
And that's just so crucial to grasp here, that symbolic weight. For a Luna, especially one like Skye, who's so embedded in this corporate structure.
Right.
Her office isn't just four walls. It's like an extension of her identity, her competence, her personal space.
So for that space, that meticulously curated sanctuary, to become the stage for this profound violation,
it immediately signals disaster, not just for her private life, but for her core sense of self, her control. It's a defilement of her sanctuary, which is really a defilement of her.
And the betrayal itself. Wow. It doesn't hit her visually first. It's something far more primal.
The scent.
Yeah, the scent of betrayal hits her before she even opens the door. Her mate, Nate, the alpha. His scent is there. Ozone, raw ambition, and a possessiveness that had once made my bones ache with need.
That possessiveness, that's key later, isn't it?
Oh, hugely.
Yeah.
But his scent isn't alone. It's described as tangled, corrupted, woven through it, clinging to it like a poisonous vine.
Ugh.
Was the sickly sweet smell of jasmine and vanilla Lena scent my best friend.
Her best friend in her sanctuary with her mate.
The sheer audacity,
Yeah.
right there in her sacred space. It's almost unbelievable.
Well, and for werewolves, scent is truth, right? It's identity, it's how they process reality.
No filter.
None. It just bypasses any need for words, for denial. To smell that combination, her mate, her best friend, and her space, it's an unarguable violation. Hits her right on that primal, instinctual level.
Triggers an immediate devastating reaction from her wolf.
Yeah, the emotional and physical impact, they're completely intertwined. They're inseparable. This isn't just, heartbreak.
Yeah.
It's described as a literal tearing of the mate bond. And for werewolves, that bond is bedrock. It's the spiritual foundation of the pack.
So severing it isn't just personal agony.
It's a political earthquake. It dissolves the ties, the spiritual and, frankly, legal ties that legitimize the Alpha's rule, the Luna's influence.
Okay, so then she pushes open that heavy oak door, and the scene, it's just brutal in its symbolism.
The visual confirmation.
Her mate, on her desk.
Yeah.
The one described as carved from a single piece of heartwood.
A deeply personal object.
With Lena, her best friend, her dark hair fanned out across my financial reports.
Oh, wow. across the financial reports.
It's not just adultery. It's violating her professional space, her work, her intellect, all tangled up with betraying her deepest relationships.
It's a complete dismantling of her world. The professional and the personal just utterly desecrated together.
Yeah. Those reports, symbolizing her competence, literally smeared with this personal betrayal.
But here's what's truly remarkable. What defines Skye from this exact moment on? Her immediate response.
Right. Internally, her wolf is howling, a desperate, keening thing. The bond severing is a physical wrench in my soul.
Like me, pure agony.
Yet outwardly. The model Lena of the Silverwood Pack did not show weakness, not ever.
Instant suppression, strategic, composure, control.
And in that agony, this chilling clarity is born. She doesn't break down, she doesn't scream.
No emotional breakdown, no public grief. It's a pivot, a cold, calculated decision emerging right from the chaos. Strategic.
She makes this low, almost inaudible click of my tongue, cuts through the room like a gunshot, freezes them.
The power in that tiny sound.
And what makes it even more impactful, this betrayal actually weaponizes Nate's own words against him. Remember, the source says Nate had talked, half joking in the dark, about his alpha nature wanting his scent on everything he owned.
Called it a power fantasy. Which now just hits so much harder, doesn't it? That wasn't just a joke. It reveals this deep insecurity in Nate. This need to possess, to control, rather than earn loyalty.
Wanting his scent on everything, turning even his partner into an object.
Yeah, highlights his possessive, entitled nature, and boy, does it backfire.
Spectacularly. Because Skye's chilling resolve, born right then, is rooted in understanding that. She observes, with this terrifying calm.
What does she say?
They had taken something from me, my trust, my love, my office. They had treated my heart like territory to be conquered and shared. Fine, a debt had been incurred and I always paid my debts.
Chilling. That's not impulsive rage speaking.
Not at all. It's cold, calculated determination. Revenge planned meticulously. It sets the entire explosive narrative in motion.
The precise moment the victim becomes the strategist, turning his own idea of possession into her weapon.
So think about this if you're listening now. How does a betrayal this profound, especially one hitting your identity, your professional standing, in such a high-stakes world, how does that transform raw emotion into strategic calculation?
Yeah, think about those times you've been deeply hurt or maybe undermined at work. How did you react?
Did you lash out, maybe validating the other person's power? Or did you find that chilling clarity, a path forward focused on consequence, not just immediate rage?
Skye's story gives us one powerful, maybe deeply uncomfortable example of that second path.
So from that moment, that killing clarity, Skye's actions become incredibly deliberate, almost unnervingly so.
Yeah, she's not panicking.
No. Her exit from the office isn't a flight. It's calculated, designed to control the fallout. She walks, her spine a rod of steel, maintaining this measured pace, not running.
And she deliberately lets the pack members in the corridors in those open plan offices
See her, smell her, smell the stench of adultery coming off their alpha, clinging to their Luna, undeniable.
And she makes sure they see the mask of glacial calm on my face.
It's a masterclass, really, in controlling the narrative from the instant crisis hits.
Absolutely. Maintaining composure, even while radiating the scent of betrayal, she broadcasts the scandal, but signals her control, her resolve.
She knows whispers will start before she even hits the elevator. And she wants them to.
Information is power. Its controlled release is power. This act creates immediate shockwaves, fear, instability, right in Nate's power structure.
She's not just leaving a scene, she's orchestrating his public downfall on her terms.
Brilliant and brutal.
But here's the twist. Instead of going down, retreating, Skye goes up.
Up? Interesting.
Ascends with purpose to the 31st floor, the council level, specifically heading for the tactical room.
Okay, that shows incredible foresight, strategic thinking. She knows exactly who'll be there.
Jax, Nate's beta, his right-hand man, the second most powerful wolf.
Turning towards the heart of the enemy's power, not away. Unexpected. Bold.
And her choice of target, Jax, is just surgically precise.
Tell us about Jax's scent. The contrast.
Right. It's described as rich earth after rain, old books, and steadfast loyalty.
Completely different from Nate's electric dominance.
Totally. Jax is portrayed as the foundation Nate had built his throne upon. Dependable, maybe overlooked, but strategically vital.
He's not flashy like Nate, maybe, but described as harder lines and sharper angles, his gray eyes missing nothing.
And as beta, he's trained to read his alpha and Luna, so he knows instantly. Smells Nate and Lena on Skye.
His reaction.
Dawning horror, which makes him ripe for her plan. He is essentially Nate's most valuable asset,
And Sky intends to claim him.
And what a plan. Inside the tactical room, just her and Jax. Her challenge is chillingly precise.
What does she say to him?
He broke something. He broke me. And when you break an alpha's most prized possession, there must be a consequence.
Wow! Directly mirroring Nate's own power fantasy, his possessiveness.
Weaponizing his own words right back at him. She tells Jax, ice in her voice, he took what was mine, so I'm going to take what's his.
Declaring war. And Jax is the first weapon.
Potent weapon.
So the act itself, what follows? It's the shocking inversion of possession, isn't it?
Completely. Sky's deliberate, cold intimacy with Jax, right there on the council table.
Yeah.
It's stripped of any romance.
Described as not a kiss of passion, it was an invasion.
Yeah. Infused with fury and pain, a desperate, clawing need to feel anything other than the hollowness.
It's purely strategic, calculated to overwrite Nate's scent on her.
And crucially, to stain Nate's most loyal soldier with my own.
Brutal. Emotionally agonizing, sure, but intensely tactical. A public defilement of Nate's most trusted ally.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. The sheer audacity. Weaponizing intimacy itself, not for pleasure, not for connection.
But for absolute vengeance.
She's not just using Jax like a pawn. She's using the very act Nate used to betray her, turning it against him in the heart of his power structure, making this public, undeniable statement.
It's a shocking inversion of everything that act normally represents.
But is it just cold revenge?
That's the critical question, isn't it? Is it purely calculated? Or is there something else? An unconscious, primal need for a new anchor as that old mate bond shatters.
The source does hint at that complexity.
Right. While the immediate impulse is tactical, vengeful, Sky's wolf, still reeling, is described as desperately seeking an anchor.
And Jax's scent, amidst all that turmoil, is noted as a strange comfort.
So it suggests that even in this act of pure strategic vengeance, there might be an underlying instinctual drive. Stability, connection, maybe. Albeit in a deeply unconventional way.
That flicker of connection forged in the fires of betrayal hints at something more than just using a tool.
Seeds of a new, complex bond being sown, perhaps, even then.
And the payoff for this move. Immediate, explosive, public. Nate arrives.
His scent.
Enraged, possessive scent, pure unadulterated fury, hits Sky like a physical blow. He sees it all, smells it all. Sky on the council table, Jax's body over hers, the primal sense screaming betrayal.
He gets it instantly.
The source says he instantly comprehends the ultimate betrayal, the perfect revenge, his whole world built on control, possession, crashing down.
And Sky's reaction in that moment, the culmination of her plan, cold satisfaction after all that pain.
A cold, triumphant smile touching my lips for the first time all night. Signals the absolute success of her move.
The debt, as she saw it, paid in full, and then some, the message sent. Nate broke her, so she broke him. Publicly. Damagingly.
This isn't just personal revenge anymore. It's the declaration of strategic war. A challenge to his very legitimacy as alpha.
So think about this, listening now. How can a deeply personal act, intimacy itself, be transformed into such a devastating political statement?
And what are the immediate explosive consequences when it's revealed so publicly, so undeniably?
Public humiliation, strategically orchestrated. It's a weapon, not just in this werewolf world, but in ours too. The immediate fallout here is just total chaos, the established order completely unraveling.
Okay, so the reveal of Sky and Jax, it just ignites Nate. Instantly.
Powder keg.
He's standing there in the doorway, radiating this killing intent so potent it made the air sick. His voice is a low, guttural growl.
The beast straining at its leash.
Yeah, this is the raw alpha, pushed to his absolute limit, challenging this ultimate betrayal, this public violation of his perceived property, his status, pure primal rage.
And Jax's response is just as potent. Deliberate, definitive.
Bruce first. Right.
Rolls off Sky with a fluid grace, immediately puts his body between her and Nate.
Now, that's not just instinctual protection, a beta shielding his Luna.
No, not in this context. It's also a clear, unequivocal declaration of allegiance.
His scent, that steady earth and rain.
Now laced with defiance, rising to meet Nate's fury, he's a shield, physically and through scent, against this tidal wave of alpha rage.
He's chosen his side, irrevocably, not Nate's, Sky's.
And Sky, brilliant provocateur that she is, she just doubles down on his humiliation.
From the table, right, exposed.
Yeah. She mockingly asks Nate with that chilling calm, "You're surprised? I thought you liked to share Nate. I'm just learning from my alpha."
Oof. That's not just a taunt. It's a direct challenge to his authority, his moral standing.
Throws his own power fantasy, his desire to scent everything he owned right back in his face. Devastating accuracy.
Like throwing gasoline on a fire.
Yeah.
And it works.
Oh, it absolutely shatters his control, the fight that follows. It's not just a brawl. It's a brutal clash of styles.
And leadership philosophies, really.
Exactly. Nate is a projectile of pure rage. Bigger, stronger, his alpha power fueling this relentless assault. Raw, untamed, almost desperate force.
But Jax, he's described as a master tactician.
Moves with efficiency that border on prescient, deflecting blows, using Nate's own momentum against him. It's a brutal, claustrophobic dance.
He's not trying to overpower Nate. He's fighting to survive, protect Skye, keep Nate from reclaiming dominance through sheer force.
So looking broader, what does this fight signify? It's not just two guys duking it out.
No, it's this microcosm of the larger political battle, isn't it? Raw strength versus cunning strategy. The very definition of leadership is being contested right there.
And connecting it to the bigger picture, Jax's style. Rooted in strategy, precision, not just brute force. It subtly, powerfully foreshadows a whole different kind of leadership for the pack.
Right. Hints at a future maybe based more on intellect, adaptability, tactics.
Rather than just raw dominance and physical power. It's a crucial distinction for what happens next. Suggests the pack might be on the edge of evolving its whole understanding of strength.
As the fight rages, Nate's accusations get
Desperate.
possessive, self-serving.
What does he yell?
You were mine, he bellows at Skye, accuses her. You let his scent contaminate you.
Trying to frame her actions as the moral failing, a violation of his ownership that shames him.
It's not really pain he's expressing, is it? It's wounded pride.
Exactly. But Skye, defiant, strategically brilliant as ever, she reclaims the narrative immediately.
Her comeback is ice cold.
She retorts, Jax's scent doesn't contaminate, it cleanses.
Boone asserts her agency, her purity against his accusations, turns his shame right back on him, reframes her actions as restorative, not destructive.
And Nate's wounded ego, it escalates into outright terrifying threats.
Yeah, he threatens to strip her title, execute Jax.
And you will be locked away where you can never shame me again.
Reveals the true extent of his desire for absolute tyrannical control, thinly masking his own pain in public humiliation.
Then this raw, animalistic confrontation gets interrupted. Dramatically.
The council arrives, the entire inner council, including Skye's father, Alistair.
They walk into chaos.
Utter disarray, blood, shattered furniture, and that overpowering, undeniable scent of adultery, betrayal, revenge.
It's public now, witnessed by the highest authorities. No denial possible.
And here, Elder Lyra steps in. Her intervention shifts everything.
Her voice, though soft, carries immense weight. She acknowledges the treason, yes, but immediately pivots to Nate's initial, deeper own betrayal.
What are her exact words? So powerful.
Treason does not happen in a vacuum. You wounded the heart, and now you are surprised that the body rebels.
That legitimizes Skye's actions, doesn't it? Frames them not as random defiance, but as a direct consequence of Nate's failures, his betrayal of the mate bond.
It gives the council explicit permission to question, to doubt Nate's conduct, his fitness to lead, shakes the very foundations of his authority.
And just as the enforcers move to take them, Jax makes his stand, his ultimate declaration of loyalty.
Refuses to go to the cell.
Asserts, she is the Luna, you will not put her in a cell. Whatever judgment the council passes, we will face it here together.
That's not just defiance, it cements his position. Not just a weapon, not just a tool in her revenge.
But her undeniable ally, her chosen protector.
He's tying his fate to hers, publicly, irrevocably.
And that declaration is so crucial. It's a public, unwavering choice. Transcends mere instinct.
He's not just fighting physically now, he's fighting politically, challenging Nate's authority right in front of the council.
He becomes the embodiment of Skye's countermove. Proves her tactical gamble secured a formidable, loyal, capable partner.
Sets the stage for a legitimate challenge to the Alpha ship itself, not just punishment for an affair.
So think about this for a moment. How do these deeply personal conflicts, when they explode so publicly, become these huge tests? Tests of existing laws, traditional power structures.
Yeah, how public perception, how the narrative is framed, can completely reshape not just relationships, but the legal, the social norms of an entire system.
This confrontation, perfect example. Private betrayal exploding into a full-blown political crisis, forcing a society to confront its own rules, its traditions. All right, so Skye and Jax are taken to the cells.
Yeah.
Beneath the Silverwood Tower.
Sure.
But these aren't, damp medieval dungeons.
I know far more. Modern. And cruel.
Described as sterile, high-tech containment units, specifically designed to suppress the beast with unnerving quiet and chemical precision.
Nate's sophisticated cruelty on full display. He puts them in adjacent cells.
Close enough to feel each other's presence, but separated by an impassable barrier.
It's not just imprisonment, it's psychological warfare, maximum torment.
It's a refined, calculated cruelty only Nate, with his blend of raw power and corporate cunning, could really devise.
It's a psychological torture chamber. And for Skye, that mate bond, though torn, isn't entirely dead.
She calls it a phantom limb. Aches with a dull, constant throb of loss, a physical memory of something ripped away.
Says, to love and hate the same person with equal intensity was a special kind of hell. A unique torment only possible with that severed bond.
Meanwhile, Jax's scent. Steady, earthy scent. Even through the barrier.
Is a strange comfort and an agonizing temptation, crucially described as the only one that didn't feel like a betrayal to her reeling wolf.
This complex emotional state, enduring pain, emerging connection is so key to her next moves.
And in this claustrophobic hell, Jax shows his deep understanding of Nate's mind. Almost predictive.
He's certain Nate won't kill him.
He won't kill us, not yet. He knows Nate, a politician first, needs to make a show of it.
Needs to reassert his dominance.
Yeah.
In a way that reinforces power, not undermined it. Calculated, not impulsive.
And what's fascinating is how Jax predicts the exact psychological torture Nate plans.
Yeah. What does he foresee?
He knows Nate will try to isolate you, use the bond, make you feel the pain of his rejection, want you crawling back to him broken, begging for forgiveness.
Oh, God.
And crucially, Jax knows he would be forced to watch every agonizing moment.
That insight shifts their fight, doesn't it?
Yep.
From physical to intellectual. A battle of wills.
Jax's analytical strength, his ability to anticipate Nate based on Nate's ego, his insecurities, that becomes their greatest asset, allows them to plan a counter strategy.
Nate's cruelty here is so precise. It really aims to break her spirit, not just contain her body.
Wants her crawling back, shattered. To confirm his dominance publicly, that need for absolute victory speaks volumes about his own weakness, his insecurity, more than his strength.
But in this shared vulnerability, stripped of power, status, Jax reveals his deeper loyalty.
Not just to Nate, the alpha.
No. He explains his true oath was to the vision, a unified, powerful pack. And, more intimately, to Skye, who he recognized as the heart of this pack.
Saw Nate take her for granted, treating her like a most beautiful, most valuable possession.
When in truth, he was holding the sun in his hands.
Wow, that shifts their dynamic again, doesn't it? From weapon and strategist to something more. A true partnership forming.
And this revelation, Jax's true loyalty, it triggers Skye's own strategic awakening. An epiphany born of adversity.
She realizes Nate's power isn't just brute strength. It's deeply tied to the Silverwood Corporation's wealth, the wealth that I manage.
She recognizes her own previously overlooked power as the pack's primary political and financial strategist, a role Nate carelessly dismissed in his rage.
Exactly. That realization is critical. Nate's overconfidence blinded him completely to the immense strategic influence, the intellectual strength Skye wielded behind the scenes.
Saw her as a consort, a capable manager maybe, but never a co-leader, let alone a formidable opponent.
And with that awakening, the solution appears, the micro-communicator.
A hidden detail, sewn in for emergencies years ago, becomes the critical tool.
To reach her father, Alistair, a pragmatist who values stability above all else.
That tiny detail becomes the fulcrum. Their entire counter-coup hinges on it.
So they transform, mentally, strategically, from prisoners to rebels plotting from the heart of the enemy's fortress.
There's this palpable, thrilling, dangerous hum of conspiracy between them.
And the source says that strange, chaotic bond forged on the council table was hardening into something else. A partnership, an alliance of two souls cast into the fire.
Jax truly becomes her anchor.
This is where their relationship really evolves, beyond tactical alliance, into something deeper, more fundamental, born of shared adversity, a common enemy, mutual recognition of hidden strengths.
Jax's loyalty to the pack's well-being, and so does Skye, as its heart gives her the support she needs to launch the counter-coup.
This new bond, forged in chaos, not destiny, becomes their strength, proving that even shattered foundations can give rise to something unexpectedly powerful.
So consider this. How can a leader's overconfidence, whether in physical power or traditional authority, blind them? Blind them to the strategic influence, the intellectual strength of those they underestimate.
Skye and Jax's alliance, formed in the unlikeliest place that high-tech prison shows us true power, isn't always obvious.
Sometimes it's the quiet strategist, the one managing the money, and the unexpected alliance forged in shared defiance. Okay, so using that microcommunicator, Skye sends a coded message to her father. It's part plea, part strategist's veiled threat.
What's the gist?
He broke the bond, now he breaks the pack's stability over pride, called the council.
Calculated gamble. Betting her father, Alistair the pragmatist, values Silverwood's stability and legacy more than anything else, more than tradition, more than personal disappointment.
And it pays off. Her father, acting as former alpha and elder, immediately calls an emergency council session.
Forces the issue out into the open, signals his profound concern for pack stability above all.
The atmosphere in the tower as they're escorted to the chamber, electric with tension.
Pack members can feel it, right? The scandal, the schism in the air, silently asking, who do we follow now?
And the council chamber itself, grand, circular, encased in glass, usually a symbol of power or transparency.
But tonight it feels like an arena, a battleground for leadership. Nate's there, immaculate but radiating feral rage.
And Lena, conspicuously absent.
Hidden away, evidence of his crime, but also a vulnerability he can't risk exposing right now.
So what does this mean for the pack? This isn't just a hearing about infidelity.
No way. It's a direct challenge to the very foundation of power in Silverwood. A fight for legitimacy for the pack's future. Stakes couldn't be higher.
Nate, predictably, starts with fury, calls it a mockery, demands they be chained, tries to reassert his absolute authority.
But Skye's father, Alistair, responds with measured deliberation, insists on hearing both accusations.
It's treason against Skye and Jax.
And crucially, unfitness to lead against Nate himself.
Levels the playing field immediately. Signals this won't be Nate's uncontested show trial. It's a real interrogation of his conduct.
And Elder Lyra again plays that crucial role in shaping the drama.
Her voice, soft but carrying immense weight. She reiterates Nate was the first to break the sacred bond, wounding the heart of the pack.
Repeats those profound words, treason does not happen in a vacuum. You wounded the heart, and now you are surprised that the body rebels.
Gives the council explicit permission to question, to doubt, Nate's conduct, his legitimacy. Shifts the focus from Skye's supposed treason to Nate's initial, deeper, systemic betrayal of the pack's foundation.
A definitive turning point in controlling the narrative.
Then Skye delivers her defense, powerfully. Not by apologizing, not excusing.
But by highlighting her contributions.
Exactly. Securing financing of the tower, negotiating peace treaties, pouring her soul into making the pack strong, successful.
Asserts Nate's act was supreme arrogance. Directly questions if he's the alpha they want, one who sees sacred bonds as mere suggestions.
Treats the spiritual political foundation of their society with callous disregard.
She pivots brilliantly. From defending her actions to attacking Nate's character, his fitness to lead, leverages her proven track record as strategist.
And Jax, standing silently beside her, bruised but unwavering. He's her unspoken argument. Look what your alpha did. Turned his most loyal man against him.
Nate sees he's losing ground, his authority visibly eroding, so he plays his trump card.
Invokes the challenge of blood against Jax.
Ancient, legal, ritualistic combat. A way to eliminate his rival, terrorize Skye into submission. Ensure he still wins in a brutal final way, even if his reputation's ruined.
A desperate bid to reassert primal dominance.
But Jax finally speaks, delivers this eloquent, powerful counter, utterly redefines his loyalty, his action.
Doesn't deny lying with the Luna, acknowledges the superficial transgression.
But masterfully reframes it. My true oath is to the strength and heart of the Silverwood Pack. I acted to protect its soul.
Casts himself not as a traitor, not a scorned lover.
Viewed as a revolutionary, a protector of the pack's deeper integrity, its spiritual well-being.
Nate's desperate accusation that Jax always wanted Skye just falls flat against the conviction of Jax's redefined loyalty.
And then, the ultimate gambit. Skye plays her final card.
Born of desperation, pain, and this sudden, overwhelming surge of agency.
A direct, public rejection of Nate as her mate, as her alpha.
The source describes it as searing physical pain, a violent backlash, a magical amputation ripping through her.
Devastates Nate, hits him with the full, primal force of rejection.
And crucially, it instantly nullifies his primary claim on her. And by extension, his right to be alpha through a legitimate, bonded Luna.
This act, unprecedented audacity, creates immediate, profound legal precedent.
A rejected alpha cannot hold the position of Luna's mate. The pack is without a true bonded pair. It is unstable.
Opens up a new path, unprecedented, breaks centuries of tradition.
In the stunned silence, with newfound authority born of absolute choice, Skye makes her bold, shattering declaration. I, Skye Luna of the Silverwood Pack, choose my own consort. I choose Jax.
The aftershock that leveled the city, born not just of desperation, but the sudden, overwhelming surge of self-determination.
She goes even further, seizes the moment, demands a true challenge of leadership.
Explicitly states, not a petty challenge of blood for a scorned lover,
but a fight for the alpha ship, for the pack, for me.
elevates the conflict, highest possible stakes, transforms personal drama into a fight for the pack's entire leadership, forces the council to confront not just individual actions, but the very nature of their governance.
Her father, the pragmatist, sanctions it, sees it as the only way to avoid civil war, preserve stability.
Jax accepts, fully committed now to the path Skye forced him onto, his loyalty cemented by her unprecedented choice.
The council, bound by ancient law, pragmatic survival, they have no choice. Sanction the challenge.
Tooth and claw only.
A return to the most primal form of justice, of leadership, forced by a thoroughly modern rebellion.
So consider this. How can a single audacious personal decision, maybe born of desperation, pain, how can it completely rewrite the rules, challenge centuries of tradition in a rigid system?
Skye's actions here, testament to the transformative power of individual choice, seizing agency when pushed to the absolute limit, forcing an entire society to bend to her will. Okay, the challenge is sanctioned. Tooth and claw only, the ultimate primal test of leadership for werewolves. Nate and Jax are separated, preparing for dawn.
For Skye, sleep is impossible. She's caught in this toxic cocktail of guilt and a fierce possessive hope.
There's still that phantom pain from the broken bond, a gnawing ache, loss. She recognizes she still loves the man he was supposed to be.
The mate her wolf chose, before the betrayal.
Yet at the same time, she wants to obliterate him, the arrogant tyrant he became. This internal conflict is just tearing her apart, even as she drives towards this climax.
And Nate, he's profoundly affected too. He seeks Skye out, looks terrible, his alpha aura diminished, flickering like a dying flame.
A moment of vulnerability.
Rare for him. He admits he was wrong, says Lena meant nothing, begs Skye to call off the fight, highlights his pain, pleads with her not to let Jax die because of his stupidity.
Desperately clinging to hope the bond might be salvaged, that he might reclaim her.
A genuine glimpse, maybe, of the man he was supposed to be, testament to the destructive power of his choices.
But Skye's resolve, forged in betrayal, cemented by strategic clarity, it's unwavering.
She sees through his pain to the possessiveness still lurking underneath, that entitlement from his power fantasy.
Tells him coldly, definitively, it's not about choosing him over you. It's about choosing a leader who respects the pack over one who respects only himself.
Nate realizes his plea is futile and issues that chilling, venomous parting shot. A curse, really.
What does he say?
His blood will be on your hands and you will still be mine. A Luna with no consort bound to the alpha who killed the man she chose, that will be your punishment.
Desperate attempt to exert control even in defeat. Inflict a different kind of pain.
The arena, desolate stone circle, open to the pre-dawn sky, the entire pack gathered, faces pale and anxious, witnessing history.
Nate arrives, stripped to the waist. Looks like a god of war. Formidable, radiating raw, untamed power.
Jax, in contrast, leaner, built for speed, strategy, appears remarkably calm, centered, quiet resolve.
The fight begins. Nate's primal roar, a hurricane of pure rage, fueled by alpha power, sets the tone, brutal ferocity.
But Jax is a dancer in the storm, doesn't meet brute force head-on, fights with impossible grace.
Deflecting blows, weaving through attacks, using Nate's own rage, his momentum against him.
Nate relies on brutality against precision. Jax uses strategic strikes, joints, weak points, designed to wear the bigger wolf down, chip away at his power.
They're evenly matched for a long time, but Nate, as alpha, has deeper reserves, lands a devastating blow.
That future Nate promised Skye watching Jax die seems terrifyingly close.
But Jax isn't done. Desperate, almost impossible burst of energy throws Nate off balance, creates an opening.
Lands a sickening blow to Nate's nose, disorients him.
In that moment of enraged pain, Nate does exactly what Jax anticipated, what his primal nature can't resist.
Lets the beast take over, shifts. Massive golden-furred wolf.
A sign of losing control, abandoning strategy for instinct, but gives him immense, overwhelming physical power.
And here's where it gets really compelling. Jax doesn't try to match that brute force in wolf form.
His shift, faster, more fluid, almost a blur.
Becomes a sleek, dark gray creature. Smaller, more agile, but moving with the speed of a striking snake.
Intellect against pure power, cunning against raw might.
Jax dodges, weaves, tears at Nate's legs, systematically weakens the golden giant. Finally, Nate lunges, blind fury.
Jax doesn't dog away completely, meets the lunge, dives under Nate's snapping jaws.
And with surgical precision, clamps his own onto the golden wolf's exposed throat.
It's over.
Decisively defeated. A wave of raw alpha power washes over the pack. It's Jax's now. A new beginning.
His victory isn't triumphant, though. He looks exhausted and burdened, the weight of his new position settling immediately.
The pack's collective howl of acceptance, fealty, his coronation, acknowledgement of their new alpha.
And his first act as alpha is profoundly telling.
He spares Ned.
Instead of exile, imprisonment, gives Nate a choice. Live away from the city.
Yeah.
Demonstrates a fundamentally different kind of leadership.
Based on tempered mercy, pragmatic stability, not absolute power, not vengeful retribution. It raises that question again. Can true, sustainable leadership be born from chaos and revenge?
Jax suggests it can, by consciously choosing a different path forward. His words to Sky signal their shared future. We shattered it. Now we have to pick up the pieces together.
Acknowledges the destruction, but signals a shared, constructive future.
Fast forward 6 months. Sky's old office, the sanctuary where it all began, utterly transformed.
It smells different now.
Yeah. Rich earth, old books, steadfast loyalty in of me, a new kind of home, truly hers, shared with the man she chose.
Jack sits behind that massive heartwood desk, radiates quiet competence and unshakable reason.
He listens more, builds consensus, leads to a stable, prosperous pack. Stark contrast to Nate's volatile, ego-driven reign. Their partnership is evident in the pack's quiet strength.
And their bond, transformed completely.
Not fated mates, no mystical pull.
Instead, something we had forged ourselves in the crucible of betrayal and revenge.
Described as a bond of mutual respect, of shared trauma, and of a fierce protective loyalty that had been tested by fire, and slowly, cautiously, it had deepened into love, a quiet, mature love built on choice, not destiny.
Highlights the profound agency, the self-determination in their relationship. Love chosen, earned, not predetermined.
Sky's symbolic act of moving forward, placing Nate's signet ring, the alpha ring, into a safe.
Not destroying it, but putting it where it belonged, in the past. No more ghosts.
Profound closure. Definitive statement of moving on, not vengeful destruction.
And Lena, her former best friend, sends another request for reinstatement.
Sky denies it, based on her Luna's gut. Shows her continued influence, her new, solidified authority, leading with both intellect and instinct.
And Sky's eventual "I love you" to Jax might have once felt fated.
Now felt new and momentous because they were born of absolute, uncoerced choice, the culmination of their journey, love built on conscious decision.
And Jax's humor, lighthearted yet deeply significant, underscores their comfortable chosen intimacy.
What does he say?
If you ever decide to get revenge on me, please don't sleep with my beta.
A clear sign of their new, stable, deeply personal bond.
So, to you, our listener, we leave you with this thought. What does it truly mean to consciously choose your partner? Choose your destiny rather than just adhering to predetermined paths or traditional expectations.
Sky and Jax's story challenges us to consider the immense, often terrifying power of agency, of forging your own path, even when fate or rigid tradition seems to dictate otherwise.
It's a powerful narrative. Suggests true strength lies not in accepting what's given, but in choosing what is built. Hashtag outro.
Wow. We've just completed a truly epic deep dive, haven't we? Exploring this saga that started with devastating betrayal.
And culminated in a complete reshaping of power, love, destiny within the Silverwood Pack.
We saw Sky's incredible transformation, from shattered Luna, seemingly a victim, to strategic queen, architect of her own destiny.
Her audacious acts of revenge led to a complete redefinition of leadership, partnership, the very idea of a bonded pair in their society.
This story really is a powerful testament to agency. Proves that even when fate or tradition tries to dictate your path,
the power of individual choice, strategic thinking can shatter and then gloriously reforge destinies.
It's about refusing to be a pawn in someone else's game, seizing the chessboard yourself.
Yeah, it shows us how loyalty shifts, how love evolves beyond those traditional fated definitions, and how true strength often lies not in brute force,
but in intellect, adaptability, and the courage to challenge the status quo.
It's a testament to building something new, something enduring, right from the ashes of what was broken.
Okay, now for that provocative thought to leave you with. Building on Sky and Jax's extraordinary journey.
Consider the unexpected, often challenging paths that emerge from moments of profound betrayal or deep crisis in your own life.
What shattered crowns, what seemingly devastating endings might actually present a profound opportunity. An opportunity for you to choose a new, stronger foundation.
One built on conscious choice, resilience, your own unwavering will, rather than predetermined fate.
We really encourage you to reflect on your own moments of breaking and rebuilding. How they might have led you, or could still lead you, down a path you never expected.
But one that is truly, uniquely yours. It's often in those choices, when everything seems lost, that we find our greatest strength and redefine our truest selves.